This is another meal in my series where I try to take frozen dinners from the dollar store and turn them into something a little bit more substantial. Today we're working with Michelina's Salisbury steak dinner, and the goal was to stretch it into a one-pot pasta that could feed four without losing the comfort food vibe. I picked up 3 of those frozen dinners. Each one comes with a single Salisbury steak patty in gravy and a small scoop of mashed potatoes. On their own, they're obviously not enough to feed a family, but I saw some potential here. I paired them with 2 boxes of beef pasta dinner kits. These are basically the Dollar Tree version of Hamburger Helper. They are meant to be made with ground beef, a little milk, and usually have a seasoning packet inside. To start, I microwave the frozen dinners just long enough to thaw them. You're not looking to heat them fully, just enough that the steaks can be removed from the tray and the mashed potatoes can be scooped out cleanly. In a large skillet, I heated a little oil over medium-high heat and added in 1 can of drained mushrooms, along with a half bag of frozen seasoning blend. That mix has onions, celery, bell peppers, and parsley, so it's a great way to add flavor and stretch the meal with a few extra vegetables. I let those saute together for a few minutes until they started to soften and brown a bit. Then I added the Salisbury steaks, gravy and all, right into the pan. I broke them up with a spatula into small chunks, kind of like you would with ground beef. Doesn't have to be perfect, but the goal is to distribute the meat throughout the dish so that it stretches evenly across the pasta. Once everything was combined, I stirred in the 2 pasta dinner kits along with their seasoning packets. Then I added the water and milk called for on the box. I brought the whole thing up to a boil, then reduced the heat, covered it, and let it simmer for about 12 minutes. Just like the directions on the box said, stirring occasionally so nothing sticks, and it'll thicken up into a rich, savory pasta by the end. Now, about those mashed potatoes. You've got a couple of options here. I ended up stirring them right into the pasta at the end. It might sound odd, but mashed potatoes are a classic way to thicken up soups and stews, and in this case they added body to the sauce and made everything a little more hearty. You could also save them for another meal entirely, or if you had more, serve the pasta over mashed potatoes like a Salisbury steak version of Swedish meatballs. That would be amazing, but with only a small scoop of potatoes in each frozen dinner, there just wasn't quite enough to make that happen for a full family portion. Still though, this meal came together right around $10 and made enough to feed 4 people, and for what it is, repurposing frozen dinners into something hot, filling, and one pot, it really worked. Would I call it gourmet? No, but it was comforting and it made use of convenience ingredients, and it proves, again, that you can get creative even with limited options.